Every day.
Thursdays was choir rehearsal. Fridays was I think family night. You come, bring your family, listen to the word,
Yeah.
have church. I wasn't in the area where they used to have church on Saturdays.
Mhm.
I think they kind of stopped that once I came into the world.
Yeah.
But that was my schedule growing up every week.
Yeah.
All year until I was went off to college. That was my schedule like all year.
Like, how did you feel always having to go to church? Like, were you instantly into, I would say, into God, or like, was it something that you had to experience life and then you was like, oh yeah, he's real?
I'm gonna tell you this dream I had when I was a kid, which I was always like that.
Mm-hmm.
My my siblings and my cousins. They have their own adventures and like how they met up with God.
Yeah.
I told my wife about this and my parents. I was a kid. I think I was probably like 6, 7 years old, and me and my family we stayed on Coleman Boulevard. And I remember in this dream, I heard like a lot of people outside, like screaming and
Yeah.
shouting, not like in a bad way, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So I was, went outside to go see what's this noise about.
Yeah.
And when I opened the door, it was super bright outside. So I'm like, man, the sun is really shining today. So I opened the
Mm-hmm.
door, went outside my porch, and I look up and I see, even though we don't know what God looks like, but I see this huge, gigantic, Titan like male figure
Yeah.
in the sky with this purple robe on, staff. Like in the when you read children's books, they have an image of what God might
Yeah.
look
Right.
like
Yeah.
or what Jesus might look like, but it's
Mm.
really not, him,
Right.
whatever. And I have my own image of what God would look like when I was a kid. And, this
Wow.
old man, this all white hair, long hair, and I looked up and I saw him. I couldn't hardly see though; it was super bright, but I saw that image,
Yeah.
and I heard God say, "I love you."
What?
And I remember, like I said, this happened when I was like 6 or 7 years old. And I still remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
So ever since then, like I was always like kind of, even as a little kid, in tune with churches,
Mm-hmm.
in tune with church, listen to the word. I used to love going to Bible study
Yeah.
and youth night, everything like that. So I kind of like, it was like God like called me right then and there. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? So I had that connection with God since I was a little kid. I was always interested in Him.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That I ain't gonna lie. That's beautiful.
yeah,
Cause if I tell you my story, I thought that church was nap time.
yeah,
We used to go to church and I'd be like, all right, oh, where's my mom? Where's my
uh-huh.
pillow? And I would lay on her lap and go to sleep.
Yeah,
That's crazy. You had a dream at that young age.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you was called from a very young age.
That's
You
what I
knew,
said. That's
yeah,
why I told my wife, I'm like, that's why like when I was like growing up and to myself and a teenager, when I would try to do certain things that I knew wasn't right,
yeah,
like I always had this feeling like, nah, like
yeah,
can't do that. Like,
yeah.
nah, like I called you, like I don't want, it's like God was like protecting me, like I don't want you to go that way or that route
Yes,
because
yes.
I got something for you.
Yeah. It's like even when you might have attempted to do bad,
Mm-hmm.
he'd be like, no.
Nope.
He
Come
was
back.
canceling at that was my life.
Yeah.
Like literally, I would be like, God, like legit, I'd be like, they're doing it. Why can't I do it?
Mm-hmm.
And I would try to do it, and I promise you, every time I tried, it was like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, we all got that moment where we meet God or we need Him,
Yeah.
and we get God attention. Like He gave me His attention right there for that split second. Like
Mm-hmm.
so as a kid, even like I tell this testimony a lot, and I don't judge anybody who do it or who still do it or who done it in the past, but like I was introduced to like try to drink at a young age.
Yeah.
I was introduced to smoke either
Yep.
weed or cigarettes.
Yep.
Like I just never had a taste for it.
Talk to me.
I just never had a taste. Like
Me.
even till this day, like we nothing wrong with it, like I said or whatever. But I don't judge nobody.
Yeah.
But like weed stinks to me.
Yes.
Like I can't stand the smell.
Yeah.
And like I love to eat. If it and I love to drink juice whatever. And like if it smell good or tastes good, I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to drink it or eat it. But if
Yeah.
it don't, I'm like
I'm good.
so when it comes to like smoking like that, it stinks to me and I think God planted that in my nose, which just draws me away
Yeah.
from it. 'Cause who knows how my life would be if I get caught up in all that. So
It's crazy. I was just telling one of my friends yesterday. I was like, I could never have really been a drinker or a smoker because like drinking, I had to force myself to do it. I did not like it. I
Mm-hmm.
personally would just be like, nah, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
And then smoking, it just I told my friend literally that the way that I've always been is I've always been like super hyper to where I thought something was wrong with me because I was always on 10.
Yeah.
And it was like when I would drink or if I would smoke, I didn't feel like myself. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like I could be hyper ashy. It was like a condensed version of myself. And
Yeah.
at some point in life, I had got to this point where when I would go to parties, I would legit have a cup of orange juice.
Yeah.
And I tell people like, oh, this is my goose
Right,
right, here.
right.
And it's so funny because people that know me, literally,
Yeah.
if I go to a party to this day and they see a cup of orange juice, they're going to be like, she going to be the littest one here. And
Uh-huh.
I'd be like, I'm lit off Jesus. Like, I don't need
Yeah.
that. I'm really good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand or really dive into or get into the hype of what it was to
Yeah.
drink and smoke. People would get hyped and turned about it, but
Yeah.
I never could experience that. I never had a taste for it, but
Yeah.
but when it comes to Jesus, like I'm turned. I'm hype about
Yeah.
him because he's the one that satisfied
Yeah.
my needs and my whatever I'm going through in my life. He the one that satisfied me. I don't have to use
Yeah.
any objects or substances to get me over that hump. I just
Yeah.
pray. That's where I get my high from. I just
Yeah.
pray. Praise God, go to church, read my word. I'm good.
What I admire about you is that you say that you're a man of God and you actually walk the life of being a man of God.
Mhm.
Like you showcase what it is, an example of what it looks like to actually take this walk seriously. Because
Yeah.
I think that sometimes we can say like, oh, I love God. And like, I'm not like throwing shade or anything, but like
Yeah.
I was in a place where I just swore I love God, but I wasn't trying to do things that show him that I love him.
Yeah.
He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And
That's
I was
right.
out here like, psh, shh. The Lord know my heart. I can
Yeah.
do what I want to do. But it's like I watch you and your amazing wife, and I see how y'all are literally being examples to our generation, showing
Mhm.
like not only is it fun living for God, but it's a blessing. Like
Yeah.
and to show it's really like seeing your testimony live and in action.
Yeah.
So because of that, I do want to know. I want to know more about Scars. Like, how did Scars come about? Like, when was it created, and what made you want to introduce this to the world?
Yeah, it was created in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
but something happened to me
Yeah.
prior to that on how the name Scars came about, and
Yeah.
actually why I'm so bold and confident in myself and why I carry myself the way I do.
Yeah.
So I came to a point where I was in college. I was a sophomore. Actually, my freshman year, I was playing football. I actually went to school to play football, but
Yeah.
the school I went to also had the major and the education I wanted to learn, which
Yeah.
was
Oh, wow.
sports management.
Mhm.
So it was like 2 for 2 kind of thing. So my freshman year playing football, we had went like 0-10. We lost all our games.
Oh, dang.
So that whole off season, I worked out, tried to get in shape because I knew that coming to the next season, I was going to be the starting
Yeah.
tight end, which is a position in football, and play wide receiver a little bit.
Yeah.
So I tried to get myself in the best shape as possible because I knew it was going to start. And not only that, new freshmen was coming in, so now I got competition.
Right.
I got to make sure I keep my spot
Yeah.
and make sure I present myself as the best in that position.
Yeah.
So that year, we had went like 5-0. We started the season 5-0. Like I said, we just came from 0-10 season. So
Yeah.
now I'm experiencing what it feels like to win on the collegiate level.
Yeah.
And so like I said, I grew up in church. I went to church all my life, 4 to 5 days a week. But what I didn't have was that connection with God.
Yeah.
So I went to church, of course, and I heard the speaker. I
That's
sung
good.
in the choir, but I was solely dependent on that.
Yes.
Going to church.
Yes.
But outside of church, what am I doing? Am I talking to him? Am I
Yeah.
praying to him?
Yeah.
Do we got that connection where
Yeah.
do I take out time
Come
to
on.
talk to him? So I didn't have that part of my
Yeah.
life yet. So so when I went to school, in college,
Mhm.
I'm not going to church.
Yeah.
Which makes me not pray when I should,
Yeah.
or talk to him when I should, or just connect with him
Yeah.
and make that time, just to set a time for him throughout the day. So because of that reason, I felt like my connection with him was kind of declining
Mhm.
because I was away from church.
Yeah.
And so I was getting, like I said, we were winning games, so I'm like feeling so good about myself. I'm catching touchdowns every game, catching 5 catches a game.
Yee.
Um, and I actually felt like I was the best player on offense at that
Yeah.
time because, like I said, I was feeling really good about myself. And on the 5th game, they asked me to play wide receiver that game because one of the receivers I got in some trouble, so they moved me from tight end and moved me over to wide receiver, slot receiver.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll do it. I know all the plays. I know all the routes to do it. And in the second quarter, like 1 minute and like 40-some seconds to go, we're trying to get downfield to go score. And I caught a pass, and I saw a linebacker come to tackle me. And I tried to make like a little juke move, and then I felt the pop.
Oh.
And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
I heard and felt it.
Yeah.
And I fell on the ground. I looked behind me. I ain't see nobody. And I'm like, okay. So I got back up, gave the ball to the referee, and I'm getting ready to run back to the huddle.
Yeah.
And I fell right down.
Ooh.
I fell right back to the floor. So I told my athletic trainer, said, come, I don't know what's going on with my leg. What is it? So they got me. They escorted me to the sideline. And my athletic trainer, his name Ryan Shockey. I will never forget his name either. And he did some testing on my feet. And he was like, hey, you tore your Achilles. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, how'd that happen? And he was like, we'll watch the camera later on today and see how it happened. But you ruptured your Achilles. Your Achilles tendon, the tendon that connects with your heel and your calf is completely ruptured.
Man.
And it felt like Jell-O, too, when you touch it.
Ooh.
So, and then at that time, my dad had to lost his job. My mom wasn't working at a job with benefits. So by my dad losing his job and me getting hurt, I got no insurance.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Like my dad lost his job the week before I got hurt.
Not the week before.
Yeah, so I called my dad on the phone on a bus going back to Olivet College where I attended. And I told him the news. And at first when I called him, he was excited because he was like, because he used to watch, whenever I had an away game, he would watch my games live.
Yeah.
Like keep live with the score. He said, man, son, y'all were down. Y'all came back and went to overtime. I saw you had only 2 catches. And at the second quarter, you got no more playing time. He said, what happened? I didn't see your name. I'm like, Dad, I got bad news to tell you. And I told him, and he was crying. I was crying.
Yeah.
And he kind of got quiet. He said, I'll call you back. Finally got home, and, we prayed. He said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to just trust God. We're going to trust God. And so the next day, I went to the athletic trainer office. And Ryan Shockey was like, give me your parents' insurance. Let's see if it works. And it got declined. It got denied.
Yeah.
So my wife, Neffy, she was my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And she came up to the school. It was her first time coming up there. So her mom made the sacrifice to drive up to the school just to be there for me in my dark time that I was in. I was really down on myself.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what to think or what to do. So my dad was like, just gonna pray and trust God.
Yeah.
So my wife, she was there with me the whole time. So after insurance got declined, I crushed back to my room. I had no car, so I had to crush all the way back to my room.
Dang. Ooh.
And then we prayed. Me and Neffy, we prayed that night, and we just gonna trust God. That's all we can do at this point.
Yeah.
So I think the next day or maybe a few days later, Ryan Shockey called me again. He said, come to my office. So crushing right back down to the office, and he's like,
it's the fact that you had to keep crunching to get to where you. Hey, bro, you really want to get to where you was going.
Yeah, I had to. And he's like, we got good news. I'm like, what's the good news? I'm like, I don't got no insurance. Like, what's good about this? He was like, man, look, you're a good kid. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of potential in you.
Yeah.
You don't cause any problems on the team. You're a leader on the team. And because we, admire you the way we do, the school is going to pay for your surgery.
Wow.
The school
is going to pay for your surgery. You literally said that your dad had just lost his job. Your mama didn't have a way to pay for it. And this guy said that he saw something in you and the school would pay for it. If that ain't God, keep going, please. Oh.
And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? The school?
Yeah.
They paid like 95% of it. The rest I paid on my own when in the summertime I worked and I paid the rest off. It was like was like $400 left.
$400, dog.
Out of 12,000.
$400.
Out of 12,000.
Oh, dog, that's crazy.
That was a $12,000 procedure on top of the appointments and MRI testing.
Yes.
That had to get done.
Yeah.
And the rehab treatment, you know what I'm saying, had to get done. Only $400.
After this, did you play football again?
Yes.
Bro, chill out. God said, this is going to happen. Yeah. It's my will, my bill.
Yep.
Wow, please keep going.
So before I got that news, I told God, I said, if you real, if you this God that I've heard about in church all my life, if you this God that delivered all these other people from their illness and their addictions and their troubling times, like if you that God that I heard about, like, can you do that for me? Yeah. And then if you do this for me, I'm gonna serve you for the rest of my life.
I'm gonna believe in you with all my heart.
Yeah, with all my heart.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna be bold for you. Like whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
And so, like I said, fast forward. So now I got my surgery done, going into rehab, and so while I'm in rehab, you know, trying to strengthen my Achilles after it was done, and I began to rehab my spirit.
Hold on. Duh. Oh, the spirit of God in you is so smooth. That's hard.
Yeah.
Please keep going.
So I began. So now I'm diving into the Word myself.
Yes.
I'm trying to build my connection with God that I never had.
Yeah.
And not just solely depend on church. So now when I'm in college, I always have Him with me all the time.
Yeah.
When I'm away from church or away from my family, like God is with me. So I began to really dig deep into the Word. Like I think I read the Bible from front to back. I used to ask my dad a lot of questions when I come across something that I didn't understand. I'm like, Dad, what does this mean? What the story's about?
Yeah. This
to try to understand God and what He and His ways, you know, for my own self, you know, my own spirit. So, so then after that, I began to, I went back on the field and I played football again. And the crazy part about it is that I got stronger. Like after I was cleared to play again, after I was clear, I jumped higher than what I was. Oh, I was faster than what I was. God. I'm like, how is that possible? Because they told me, they said when you get hurt like this, you know, we won't be the same. You gonna be
weak? You would think you would be weaker.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And the doctor's like, you won't be the same. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I won't be the same. I'm gonna be better.
I'm about to cry.
I'm gonna be better than what I was.
Wow.
So after that, my junior year, I won second team all conference. I didn't win that before that. I won it after.
And it's crazy because you said by the fifth game of that season, you was like, I thought I was good. I thought I was the best on the team.
Yeah.
But to hear that you got hurt
and I got back.
This a whole word. It's the comeback for me. Please keep going.
Yep. And then senior year, I was first team all conference.
Oh.
So now I'm the best player in my division.
In your division.
In my division.
Not on your team.
Division.
In your division.
In my division.
Man.
And we won a championship that year. I think I brought that ring to your church that one time.
Yeah.
Won the championship that year. So it's like all of the great things that I've dreamed of happened after.
After your spiritual rehab.
After my spiritual rehab. That happened. And the main reason why I wanted to come back on the field was to, number one, I love football.
Yeah.
And secondly, I wanted to be an example for other people that surrounded me. Like, you know what? Like, well, no matter what you go through, like, don't give up.
Yeah.
And no matter what your dream is, no matter what you want to do, no matter what you want to pursue in your life.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to face some challenges that's going to stumble you, that's going to try to knock you down, but you got to find a way to get back up and fulfill that for yourself.
Yes.
And then when you fulfill that for yourself, other people that look up to you or watching you, they will see the journey that you were part of, and that will influence them and encourage them to keep going for their dream too. Because if I would have gave up, it would have showed my cousins and my siblings like it's okay to give up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I saw my mom go through a lot, and she never gave up on us.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't give up because my mom didn't give up on me, so I can't give up on her. And she's a strong woman.
Wow.
So, and my dad too. Like I saw him go through one of the worst things in his life, and he didn't give up either. So they set an example of what it means to not give up and to keep pursuing what you want to do. So fast forward now, so this happened in 2014, my journey. Fast forwarding to 2018, I was at this job where I was working at Lapeer Industries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's job open anymore. It closed down.
Yeah.
But I was a blaster, and I used to weld too, and I used to do spot welding. So it was one particular day I was at the job, and I was doing spot welding. So I'm sitting down doing spot welding for these rings. They used to call it rings
Mm-hmm.
for the axles, and I kind of like blacked out while I'm working,
Mm.
and God showed me a vision of a Facebook page where it said like motivational speaker, Dom Gibbs motivation speaker.
What?
So I'm like, okay, God, this is what you want me to do. This is my calling. This
Yeah.
is my what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, God, so if this is what you want me to do, reveal like a name that you want. You know what I'm saying? A name that's gonna stand out.
I
don't
love
want
how we test. We don't test God, but I love how we like, God, if this what you want me to do, show me.
Yep, show me. So I'm like, okay, guys, okay, I need a name that's gonna stand out. I don't want it to be like Dom Givens motivation.
Motivation.
I want something that's gonna like stand out. That's kind of different.
Yeah.
So after I prayed that, a few days later, I'm on spot welding again,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of blacked out again while I'm working,
Wow.
and I froze, and then my eyes closed,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden it was like a movie that was being played. It's like a movie,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden God showed me a image of my left foot, my Achilles,
Mm-hmm.
and he then like a knife went towards it, and it reopened the surgical scar I had,
Wow.
and opened it back up, and then I saw like this light ball
Mm-hmm.
that went inside my foot,
Yeah.
and God sealed it back up. And I heard God say, he was like, wherever you go, I'm always going to be with you.
Wow.
So it was like God was telling me, like, you know, reminding me that I healed you.
Wow.
And wherever you go, where you walk or run, I'm going to always be with you. So that light was God.
That was powerful.
And then after
I got the chills.
that faded away,
Yeah.
you know, like on movies, like at like end credits, like words go across.
Yeah.
I saw scars go across in red.
I
So
got
I said,
the chills.
I said, okay, that's the name you wanted to be, Scars.
Wow.
So that's how Scars
Dang.
came about. So Scars motivation is really about like helping other people heal from their scars.
Yes.
Because I was scarred, I was wounded,
Yes.
and God healed me.
Yeah.
And we all have scars. We all have something that we go through. We all have something that we still deal with mentally that happened
Yes.
to us in our past.
Oh, talk to me. Talk to me.
That happened to us in our past.
Yeah.
Or there are things that we witnessed or we were exposed
Mm-hmm.
to that still like that we just can't erase out of our memory, and,
Yep.
and it still traumatizes us, whether we like lose trust in people or we can't
Yep.
trust nobody, or we having a hard time believing in God,
Yep.
we having a hard time believing in other people.
Yeah.
We like last week you talked about that self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might lack self-confidence, you might lack self-discipline. Like
yeah.
we all went through something in our past growing up that
Yes.
hinders us still this day.
Yep.
But I'm always reminded with the scars, by his stripes you are healed. So like if you trust in God, if you put your faith in him
yeah.
and you lean on his understanding, he can heal you, but you gotta want it.
You gotta want it for
You
yourself.
gotta want it for yourself. And
Yeah.
you can't just continue with your life blaming other people on what happened to you in the
Yes,
past. You gotta
mhm.
find a way to get over that hump. So that's
Yeah.
what scars is about, is helping other people get over that hump by believing, having faith.
Yeah.
Because I was tested with faith
Yeah.
to believe in God when my Achilles ruptured. Like,
Yeah.
okay, God, if you this guy, like I trust you and I believe that you can make a way, and he did. So this is why I am who I am.
Yeah. It's so crazy. Ooh, I got so many questions. I'm
Yeah.
trying to like reel them in. Okay, let me start the first. So it's so crazy that you said God, if you're this person that I hear about,
Yeah.
show me who you are.
Yeah.
Because like I think that every person in life, before they have that real life experience where we like, okay, I believe in you, God, we have that moment where it's like, all right, God, I'm at this point where if you really exist, prove it to me.
Yeah.
Because I know I had that. I think I had that in college. Just to tell you a little bit about my story, when I was in college, I never drank in high school. I literally waited until the last year of my college semester to
Uh-huh.
get into everything. It was
Yeah.
like I was the good girl, and I was like, this is the one time I want to try it all out.
Yeah.
And I remember it was the moment that I tried it, I was depressed. I was like, I had gained so much weight. I was so unhappy with myself. I didn't believe in myself. And it wasn't until I graduated from college that I was like, all right, God, I'm going to give you a shot because the way that I feel, I don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the moment that I started like acknowledging him, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to Bible study because I told you church for me was sleep.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to go to Bible study. I'm going to have study on my own. And it really just started with me going to a track. Because the way that I associate my relationship with God is through working out. Like, working out taught me to believe in God.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if you really exist, make me a runner. Because I hate running. I play every other sport, basketball, even football.
Yeah.
I did everything, but I didn't want to run. And so I would go to a track. And I would be like, teach me the scriptures as I walk on this track. Teach me the scriptures as I run on this track. Teach me the scriptures. And if you make me actually like running, I'll believe that you exist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I would spend so much time on the track with him actually running that it became like a way of me really just kind of healing.
Yeah.
It would, because I would do it by myself, and I would do it every morning at like 5 a.m. I'd just go out there, and it was like the more that I ran, the more that I read the scriptures, and the scriptures will come to life. Like when God talks about endurance, I was reading the scriptures about endurance. Like, okay, you want me to endure to the end, not just spiritually, but physically, with mentally. Like, you're using this moment in time to teach me how to use the word in my everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I say this is because I wanted to know more about your sports mindset, because I believe that people that play sports, I believe that we built different. Like the mindset you get in a sport is the mindset you carry in life. So I want to know, like, how did football teach you to have this kind of go after beast mentality that you use now in your walk?
Yeah. So football is of course it's a game we play, and your main goal is to. I'm an offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
I like offense. I can play defense, but I'm more offense. So on offense, it's our job to score.
Yeah.
And the team with the most points win the game. So of course, it's a team effort, of course, because offense got to do their part.
Right.
Defense got to do their part too.
Yep.
But when I'm on offense, I got to make sure that every possession, every time that we have an opportunity to score, we got to do it. We got to execute it.
Yeah.
But before you get your touchdown, you got to get first downs first.
Yeah.
So you got to continue to get first downs. Keep moving the ball. Keep moving the chains until you get to the end.
That's good.
So God always, God has a destination for all of us.
Yes.
But He gonna make sure that He not gonna just skyrocket and like throw us way over there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He gonna get us through first downs.
Yes.
Okay. I need for you to go here.
Yes.
I need for you to go here.
Yes.
Go here.
Come on.
Go there.
Talk to me.
And as you keep going,
yes,
then you're gonna get there.
Woo.
So in every play that we run,
Mm-hmm.
it is a play to throw the defense off, because the defense is going to be set the defense is going to be set into a certain formation that is going to stop you from scoring.
Yes.
Or stop you from getting that first down.
Yeah.
So it's up to us to read the defense that they're playing.
To read the enemy.
Read the enemy.
Come on.
So we can keep scoring and keep moving the ball.
Oh.
Because the devil knows what God got for us.
Come on.
You know, he knows the word too.
Yes.
So he's gonna do whatever kind of scheme formation he's gonna play to get in front of you and block you and stop you from scoring. But it's up to us to continue to have God in our hearts, in our life, and to allow God to lead us.
Because He gave us a playbook. We got strategy.
We got the strategy.
We literally have strategy to be able to see His defense, see His plays. So it's not just like He see my plays. No, I see your plays too, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that once we start, like, the more you spend time with God, the more you're going to start seeing His defensive plays. Like, it become easier to identify it. Like, I was telling somebody the other day that one thing that I didn't realize that was carrying on me was the spirit of rejection. And I think that it's important for us to say, like, spirits are real.
It is real.
They're real. And if you don't identify and address that it could be a spirit influencing you, like depression is one that we commonly talk about, but we don't talk about jealousy. We don't talk about bitterness. We don't talk about those things that we harbor in our heart that are literally ways for us to allow the enemy to still have access to us.
Yeah.
So one thing I didn't realize was that the enemy was playing on my head and my perspective with rejection. So when you are hurt, you look at life through a hurt lens.
That's right.
And so I was looking, I exposed myself. I don't mind telling them the truth about me. I was looking at life through a hurt lens, through an abandoned lens. I had some relationships where I would be the best person that I could be in the relationship. And then next thing I know, the person would ghost me. And I used to be like, God, like I was top tier. Like I know me.
Yeah.
I know I was great.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, God, like what happened? Why did they leave? And every time I love God because he gave me understanding, he would be like, that was not me rejecting you. That was me protecting you.
Yeah.
And I need you to look at life through my eyes and not through your lens. Because when you lean onto your own understanding, then you ain't going to have no peace. But
That's
when you
right.
start to know, when you acknowledge me in all your ways and know that I'm truly directing your path, your life is not about you, Ashley. These people that you're encountering, they're not going to get you to where I'm taking you. So I had to remove them because you wouldn't do it. If God left it up to me, I'd have kept every situation I had. But because he loves us so much, he like, nah, I'm going to take you away from that. And so back to the topic of football and the defense, it wasn't until God revealed to me the enemy's defenses. He was showing me like, Ashley, every thought that you have that's saying you unworthy, every thought that you're having that's saying that you're unlovable, every thought that you're having that does not align with the word of God, that is a lie and not the truth, that ain't me. And now when you have those thoughts, or when a thought even tries to peek into your mind, that's not me. Identify that and command that to flee. That's a bar.
Yeah. That's a bar for sure. That's a bar. So yeah, like it's amazing how God works, and it's amazing how, and it's crazy. It's like we both young.
Yeah.
And we both, we both, went through some things in our life where we gather a lot of information on how the enemy and how he works and his scheme and defense stop us.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it is like I said, we both young, and there are going to be some things that he gonna try to throw at us that we never seen before.
Yes.
Like he gonna try to spice it up.
Come on.
He gonna try to add some seasoning to it. He gonna go on his off season.
Yes.
And try to gain power and strength.
Go to his playbook.
Work out.
Yeah.
And try to figure out what can he do differently.
Yeah.
To stop you from scoring. So that's why it's always important that we always gotta stay in the word.
Yeah.
And stay prayed up.
Yeah.
Because the enemy working too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He got his demons running around here trying to get in our heads and get in our hearts and spirit. So that's why it's important that we got to make sure that in our season, in our off season, we continue to stay.
That's why you
strong.
Condition in the off season.
That's why. So the next season you come back.
You
stronger.
come back stronger and better. Oh, yeah. That's powerful.
Yep. And that's why I love football, because I use football as it's like I don't know how to put it, but I have so much passion for that game. Like, ask my wife, I love football.
Yeah.
Like, I have so much passion for that game, and she called me Madden. Because,
really?
Yeah, because every time we talk, whether it's about God or just life period, I would use an example from football. Yeah.
I saw this TikTok that your wife posted. I think it was like her and the camera, and she said, every time my husband gets to talking about football, I can't remember the song, but it was kind of like, it reminded me of Charlie Brown. Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have so much passion for that game. I use that as my physical, spiritual force.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I get super excited when I score, whether if the ball thrown to me, or whether if I was a decoy to help someone else score, or if I just have to block to make sure the QB don't get sacked or tackled, and to watch my other teammates flourish, because we all are in this together. You know what I'm saying? Like, to say when there's two or more gathered together, Jesus in the midst. So I just we all got to be together to help each other out, boost each other on, so we all can win. So that's the purpose. The purpose of life is to win.
Yes.
And if you can continue to score, you will eventually win.
I just got this revelation as you were talking.
Yeah.
So you know how at the end of the football game, or at the end of any sport, you go and you shake hands, right?
Yep.
What God just showed me is that just like in the kingdom, sometimes it might feel like we're on opposing teams, but you don't go up to the person on the other team and roughhouse them.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you show them that love, because at the end of the day, I want you on my team.
That's right.
I want you on the winning squad. Yeah, I want to word this improperly, but that squad might be losing, but really, I'm trying to recruit you to over here.
Yep.
And the only way I can do that is by being an example. Because I know, at the end of my games, when even if I lost, you would see the other side, and because we're on opposite sides, people would be like, nah, I'm good. It'd be like some kind of friction.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm at the point where I'm like, no, I want everybody at the table. I want everybody on the team. I want everybody winning with me, because it's no fun when I'm winning by myself.
That's right.
Especially because me and you in our church, like, we can see the battle that's happening.
Yeah.
And it says, like, I am my brother's keeper. It's up to me to keep my brother, even if they can't see where they are, at least because I see and I have eyes. I need to be willing to not only be an example, but help them come out of that.
That's right.
Like, I see so much hurt these days, and it's like, I know what that hurt looks like. And I'm going to be honest, I had been so timid and scared to move how God called me to, because I was afraid that wasn't my place. Like, it's not my place to help them. It's not my place to do this, but it is.
Yeah.
Because if I see it and they might not see it, it's my place to help.
That's right.
Kind of went off topic a little bit, but I did have another question. So I see your shirt, and I see the arrow on your shirt, and I wanted to know, like, how did that come about?
What's crazy is my wife had actually got this logo made for me.
Really?
I think it was either a Christmas present or a birthday gift. It was one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And she got with this guy named Mikey Maker.
Mm-hmm.
He makes logos for other companies.
Yeah.
And when Neffy, and him got together and they introduced me to the logo, they gave me like different options. You want this one, or that one? And I chose this one, right here, this one, because when I looked at it, I'm like, at the very bottom, it got like 4 stripes going across. I'm like, that looked like my scar on my Achilles.
Wow.
That looked like the stitches that was once there.
Wow.
And then now you got the arrow going up.
Yeah. Wow.
Like when you are healed from your scars, you're rising.
That's your life.
That's
literally.
my life. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So I chose this logo to keep for the scars because it pretty much defines my story.
Yeah.
Because like ever since I was healed from that, when I was here,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, at the very bottom, when I was healed from that, God has been elevating me and ascending me into my calling, my purpose in different places. So that's how the scars came about. So
I have 2 questions, and it's kind of like a 2-parter. So I want to know, the first question is, how did you know that you were called to speak? And then the second question, to kind of spin off of that, is, within this speaking journey, have you had any insecurities that made you not feel like this was your calling after you accepted it?
When I knew it was called to speak was, I shared a testimony about when God showed me like the Facebook page and then the scars going across.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I knew that I was called to speak. I think even before that, actually, you know what? Before that, when I was in college, it was just one particular. It was that year, my sophomore year.
Yeah.
Our coach had shared like a hype video to get us hyped up about the season that coming up. He want us to believe in ourselves and to not dwell on what happened prior to the season when we had went 0-10.
Yeah.
And he had Eric Thomas voice playing. It was a video where Eric Thomas voice is playing over this 10-minute hype video where it showed like all these football touchdowns and basketball, monument moments like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, like all these great players, all in one video, and it's showing them succeeding in their sport.
Yeah.
And he had Eric Thomas' voice playing over it. I'm like, man, he sound really good. Like, that's my first time hearing Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, he sound really good. I'm like, man, that really touched me.
Yeah.
That really hit my soul. And I'm like, I think I could do something like that one day.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, motivate people.
Yes.
And then I like on the random, I'll practice it.
Yeah, me too.
I'll act like I got an artist.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Imagine them right there, like, so guess what we have today?
Yeah. I'll just, just play it out. And then after that, 2017, I had told my pastor at the time, his name is Jerry Givens Sr.
Yeah.
I said, hey, I believe I'm ready to be a minister.
Yeah.
So we had a trial sermon. I had spoke that night. We had family members come and watch me speak to make that next step into being a minister and what I was called to do.
Yeah.
So I think at that moment right there in those few years together, I think that's when I knew like I was called to speak.
Yes.
But scars came later on like how I was going to use that platform.
Yeah.
So I think I knew that. But on this journey, you had said like self-confidence.
Have you had like any moments where you might have questioned it?
Oh yeah, I had that a lot. I asked my wife. There were times I had wanted to like stop scars. I think it
Yeah.
was one time I wanted to stop scars because of the lack of support I had.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would do a lot of like I would post a lot of videos. I was posting a lot of content, and like nobody wasn't like really sharing it.
Yeah.
Um, at that time, that's when I really felt insecure about myself
Yeah.
and what I was doing.
Yeah.
I kind of, like I said, I almost wanted to give up. And then when I have scars events and not everybody, coming to support
Yes.
me, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
always at everybody else's
Else
stuff
event.
though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When everybody asks me to come there, I'll be there.
Yep.
But when I have my own stuff, like nobody is there.
Yeah.
So that's when I think I was during like 2021. That's when I was like feeling, in 22 maybe.
Yeah.
That's when I was kind of really feeling insecure about, or like lack of confidence about
Yes.
scars, because I almost
Mhm.
wanted to stop doing it.
Yeah.
But then I had to just realize, like, who you doing this for? It ain't about you.
Yes.
It's about God. You know what I'm saying? It ain't
Yes.
about saving. It's not about having 100 people show up,
Yes.
200, 500,000.
Yep.
Even if just one show up
Yes.
and you bless that soul, like that's
Yes.
enough for God.
Yeah.
So when I accepted that and came to realize like that, and not focus on who supporting me,
Yes.
who not, who sharing, who not, who watching, who not,
Come on.
who coming to it
Yep.
or who not.
Yep.
When I finally got old enough to where I just like blocked out that and not worry about that, that's when I began to appreciate what God is doing for me, and just think about the future. Like, think about the bright side of it. Like I said,
Yeah.
you saving one soul, and as long as you keep on being consistent with it and you keep on trusting in God with it, God will send more people your way to come and to get the opportunity to speak in front of other people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, Joe, like coming to GMZ,
Yeah.
like probably one of the best decisions I made in my life as far as spiritual
Big facts.
spiritual decision. God was testing me. He was showing me different things
Mm-hmm.
before I came to GMZ that I was kind of hesitant with,
Yeah.
because I didn't understand what God was showing me or telling me.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like neutral and stale with it, but still kept it in mind. And then God was showing me more things. Like I was having dreams. You had those dreams that wake you up out your sleep.
Yes.
Like when you see something like so supernatural.
Yeah.
Like I was having dreams like that where God was trying to tell me, like, I want to elevate you, but you
Yes.
gotta go.
Yes.
You gotta go. And when I finally, God said, he loves the obedience over sacrifice.
Yes.
And so when I obeyed him, I said, okay, God, this is what you want me to do. I'm gonna do it. And then ever since I did it, I've been having opportunities. I got the rebirth. You know what I'm saying? The resurrection we just had last few weeks ago.
Yep.
Then speaking at main services, like
Yes.
at the one we just did, other people asked me for my number,
Yeah.
so they want me to come
Yeah.
at their church to speak, or they
Yeah.
or go ask me if I can go to the jails and go speak over there.
Yeah.
Like, if I would never been obedient
Yes.
to do what God want me to do, I would never have seen these opportunities.
Yeah.
But like I said, God said He want to elevate me, but before I do that, I have to do this. And
I gotta take a second to please shout out Greater Mount Zion, Pastor
Yeah,
Joe and First
Greater
Lady
Mount Zion.
Marilyn, because when I came to the church, I actually stopped speaking. I spoke like probably 5 or 6 years before.
yeah,
And I told you prior to the episode that I had kind of got insecure in my speaking gift, and I was questioning myself a lot. And it was like, I remember when I came to GMZ, I did not come to GMZ to be a part of GMZ. I came to GMZ because a friend that I was hanging around at the time had
Yeah.
invited me. And I remember, I'm gonna be honest, because I haven't told Joe or Marilyn this, but I'm gonna let them know now. When I came in, I was judging. I was like straight up judging. I was like, what I'm finna get out of this small church? Like, what's about to happen in here? I remember going into the parking lot instantly with a judgmental mindset. Like, they're not finna feed me. I had been so high up on, I swore that I knew God so much that nobody could tell me about God.
yeah.
And that was pride. That was the spirit of pride so heavy in me. My shoulders was just, I could feel it. Like I just thought I was just so almighty. And then when I went into the church, because I came from a background of having a big church.
Yeah.
And when I came to this smaller church, I'm like, man, I'm basing it on the building and not the spirit.
Yep.
So I walk into the service. In the first service that I went to, Pastor Joe actually wasn't there. It was Deacon Micah. And I remember hearing Deacon Micah and his son Elijah sing. And it was something about hearing them sing that had me like, okay, let me pay attention. Like, I was in the midst of judging the church. And then as I was listening, it was like God was checking me like, girl, shut up. Like, you might want to tap in. And so that first service had my interest because Deacon Micah had preached, and it was good. And then I was told by the family, like, wait till you see Joe. Wait till you experience Pastor Joe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this Pastor Joe guy that y'all talking about? Yeah. So I remember the next service that I came to, Pastor Joe was there. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of intimidated. I'm like, this is a young pastor. This not like some old Pastor Joe.
This when he had his haircut?
You know, no, he had hair.
Okay.
But I'm like, who is this man that y'all talking about? And I remember the first thing that I experienced from him is he gave me a hug. And I was like, he don't even know me, but he coming to give me a hug. Okay. Yep. And so then this was a crazy experience because church is going on. Church has started. It's going on. And as it's going on, there was somebody that was outside on the corner. I think it was a prostitute, honestly. And the prostitute, she was making noise. And I just remember Pastor Joe stopping and getting his deacon and getting some of the other members and saying, we about to go outside and pray for her. And that kind of caught my attention. Like, wait a minute, they're going to stop service and go pray for somebody. That's instantly when I was charged, like, that's dope. Yeah. You're not going to go with the routine of service. You're going to go with the flow of the spirit. So as they're going to handle that, I watched First Lady Marilyn. She started singing. And so I'm like, okay, like she gonna carry on and she gonna hold the ball. And so then next thing I know, as she's singing, I'm be honest, once again, I was still judging. But once she started singing, the singing started to, again, humble me like, Ashley, shut up. And I started to feel like stuff in my heart starting to break off. Like her singing, literally, she just was singing. And it was like I was looking around the room and my friends that were with me, they were crying. It was people crying all in the room. And I've never been one to be a huge crier. So as she's singing, I'm feeling myself open up in a way that I'm like, why do I feel like I might be about to cry? And so she just continued singing. She continued singing, and then she opened up service to be able to say, "Do anybody want to share something with the church?" And I remember grabbing the mic and literally saying, "I came in here with a pride, and I came in here judging, and in this experience, I'm feeling very humble." And so then carrying on with service, it went on as it normally does. And I think at the end, I ended up going. And I went to go hug, I think, First Lady. And she had gave me a word and said, like, it's time for your next chapter. Like, you need to let go of all these old things you've been carrying on, and it's time for you to move on to the next chapter.
Powerful.
It's time for you to be obedient. She said, because it's a calling on your life, and pretty much told me, like, it's time for you to step in it. And I remember hearing her say this and knowing that I heard from God, because only God could have told her that. I broke down crying. Wow. I hadn't cried probably in like 2 years. Like, I went through relationship situations and had not cried. It was like, what I noticed that day is that God wanted to open my heart back up, that I could experience him in a more deeper level, because I closed it. And what I want to express right now is that sometimes we can close our hearts and not realize that we're closing our hearts off on God, because the way that we feel towards men is kind of a reflection of how we feel towards God. Yeah. If my dad disappointed me, I'm going to believe that God will disappoint me. If man has hurt me, I'm going to believe that God won't help me. It's like the way that you see people is kind of the way that you see God. Yep. And I thank God for that day, because he was able to break some stuff off of my heart to where I was like, okay, let me let God in a little bit more. And the more that I let him in, the more that I realized I had a lot of healing to do. So like the scars that you're talking about, I had some wounds on me, whether they weren't physically in the open, but they were so deep in my heart that I hadn't realized they were up. I prided myself on being strong, like, man, that didn't affect me, but really it did. And once God started opening my heart back up, it was like, oh, this is what peace feels like. This is what real joy feels like. This is what love feels like. And the more that I opened my heart up to experience him, the more I started to feel different. And what I think about God using GMZ is that I stopped speaking for years. And then I remember Pastor Joe or First Lady, one of them, they had said, yeah, I want you to do scripture. And I was like,
That was a
I
a
like
step towards
that was my first down.
yeah, your first
I
down.
was
Yeah.
like, okay. And so I remember I did scripture one week and it was cool. And then they kept like having me do scripture. And I remember one day I was like, man, if I'm gonna read scripture, I'm gonna read scripture.
Yeah.
So I was reading, like let's say I was reading Psalms. I was like, I started reading, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And then I will put a message with it. Like, if you're gonna give me 2 to 3 minutes to share scripture, I must speak and give what is inside of me.
Yep.
And so I noticed like they would keep giving me first downs. And at some point I remember Pastor Joe saying to me, this is crazy, Dom. God had told me it's time for you to let go of what you've been holding on to. And I was like, for real, God? Like, you really want me to let go? Because I was holding on to something. I was holding on to a friendship real bad. Like, I was like, oh yeah, like we locked in. Like, this gonna be my husband, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was holding on so bad. It was like the little girl with the teddy bear with Jesus in front of you.
Yeah.
I was holding on so bad. I'm like, no, I want to go. Because I wasn't fully tapped into God. I was like on the surface still. So I was like, God, I wanna hold on. And God has said, when you finally let go and you be obedient, like you said, obedience before sacrifice, when you finally let go, you finna see me. And so I decided on a Sunday morning, I said, I'm done. I'm letting go of everything. And I remember right as I made the decision in my mind, Pastor Joe called me into his office and he said, Ashley, you're preaching next Sunday.
Man, look at that.
And I was like, what?
Right after that.
I was like, what? So then the crazy thing is, it was a test after that because I had to have a conversation. Because I was ghosted, I don't like to ghost people. So I had to have a conversation with the person like, you know what? Okay, I got to let this go politely. And so after church, it was dawning on me because I'm like, well, I made it up in my mind, but am I going to do it in reality? So I ended up having a conversation like, I'm sorry, I got to step away. And right after that, when I say life started going up, like literally people started hitting me up like, hey, I want you to come speak here. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. I want you to do this. And like the point of me saying this is that I realize when you are truly obedient to God and you follow his will without question, when you follow it boldly, when you follow it faithfully, oh, God really scars. He gonna take you up. Not only is he gonna heal you, but now he's gonna use you to heal his people. Everything that you've been through, everything that I've been through, it was literally so that God could use us for the next person. He could use our testimonies to share the goodness and greatness of God. He could use what happened to us to motivate the people around us. And that's the reason I created this podcast, because I believe that literally we are saved by hearing other people's testimony.
That's right.
We provoke hope when somebody hear, you went through it, oh, I can do it too.
Yep.
So we are wrapping up at the end of our episode. So I want to ask you one last question.
Yes.
If you could either speak to your childhood self, or you could speak to a person, just a person out in the world, what would be your last words that you would leave with them?
What I would say is that our flaws or things you may see that are imperfect, or a mistake, or just something don't seem right, or something that's broken.
Yeah.
Like God can use your brokenness for something beautiful.
Yes.
Like, 'cause I grew up, I had a anger problem.
Yeah.
And I still go through that a little bit today.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, I would use what I thought was a flaw for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I used to take it out on my siblings, my parents,
Yeah.
my friends. But then when I finally realized that the energy that I had, that God used it for his purpose.
That fired up energy.
Yeah. Like playing football, going to work out.
Yeah.
And the other part that God really used it for, when I'm up and speaking, when I'm really in the spirit.
Yes.
Like, the reason why I speak with intensity.
You speak with passion, bro.
With passion.
Yes.
That's that energy
that
was stored in me. And then when I'm done.
Yeah.
That energy I had is gone.
Yeah.
That's when like when you just release stress.
Yes.
It was like it's gone.
Yeah.
Like I'm satisfied.
Yep.
Like sometimes when I go to the gym and I had that energy in me.
Yep.
When I go in the gym, I'm running, I'm lifting weights, give all I got.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yep.
So you got to figure out whatever you think that is broken in you or that's imperfect. Like, God will use that for God can use that for His glory. He could be like, man, you got what?
Yeah.
Man, watch what I can do with that.
Yeah.
And God will use that for His glory. So whatever you think that's like, just don't seem right, trust me, it's part of your journey, your plan. God
Yeah.
will use that for His glory.
Yeah. So thank you, Dom, for
Yeah.
coming on to the show. This has been amazing. I've truly enjoyed having you with me. Who? Oh, we got replies in this thing. Okay.
Wow.
Look at God. Oh, sheesh.
Wow, look at that.
Sheesh. What they said, talk to me. Before we end, let's talk to the crowd. What's going on, people? Hi, family. Yeah, we can see it. Okay.
Man, look at God.
Okay, we got praise God. Yes, Lord. I'm reading it in my voice.
God brought all these people to watch.
Man, this is amazing. Look,
Yeah.
won't He do it? I am a witness. Come on, Bobby.
Yeah, my grandma Bobby.
The comeback. Okay, that's your
That's
grandma.
my grandma, yep.
Great show. Let's go. We
see.
got Amber on here. Amber Ray.
I see
Cosmetologist.
Joyce. I see Joyce.
We see Joyce out here.
Yep.
Woo, fires.
Man, look at that. They was watching.
Wow, this is beautiful.
Marilyn Givens, that's my other grandma. That's my dad's. That's
Come
my
on. The
my
Givens,
dad's
the
mom.
Givens.
Yeah.
Y'all be giving out here.
Yeah, awesome. This is amazing, man.
Wow.
It's amazing. You about to blow up, Ash. You about to blow up.
We,
You about to blow up.
because we serving God. We in this together. Wow, big spirit of God at GMZ and is.
That's right.
It's funny because on Sunday I told my friends, I said my new nickname is and is, because when you see me, and is, God is in me, and is going up, and is. Look at Amber.
Man.
Look at oh my goodness, my best friend Chanel Turner.
Hey,
Shout out to my cosmetologist.
Hey, Mari, I see my cousin. Hey, Mari. She said, hey, Diamond. Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Mari.
There's Chanel. She tuned in, too.
This is beautiful. Oh, I do want you guys to know that if you have any speaking opportunities where you would love to feel the fire of God, please contact Dom. His page is called Scars Motivation. You can find him on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. He's always giving a motivational message. I literally get on YouTube and see a short. Almost every time I hop on, I see Dom. So if you are interested in bringing him maybe to like a youth program or a youth service, or not just youth, man, he can speak to anybody. If you want any kind of motivation, I would suggest please get in contact with Dom. And if you want the dynamic duo, you can bring Fire Ash on the side.
Right,
but please,
Russell,
please don't sleep on him. Please follow his social media pages, because my man bring the fire of God every single time.
Amen.
So with that, we are going to conclude this episode of the Salt Table Talks. Like I said, our platform is here to inspire hope through transformative talks. We like to have these talks because we believe in Revelations 12:11 that we literally do overcome by the word of our testimony. If you are interested in getting on the podcast, you can feel free to hit me up either on Instagram, Fire Ash Speaks, not YouTube, but you can hit me up on Fire Ash Speaks or Fire Ash Media, and we can talk shop and see if we can have you on the episode. So with that, I love you guys, and I can't wait to talk to you next Thursday and turn up in the spirit of the Lord.